Hola amigos, I am in sunny Spain, which is where I'm recording this episode this week, and so thank you so much for joining me. I'm Harry HJT White from eToro, as you can now see from my new t-shirt, which I got at the eToro 2022 Popular Investors Summit, which is going to be the topic of today's video.
This is the first annual summit of Popular Investors, from now on every year, so congratulations, you were in the first one.
So let's just jump straight into this. I went to the eToro Popular Investors Summit literally the day before getting the flight here, so I basically got about 2 hours sleep before I had to jump on a plane between the eToro Summit and getting to Spain. And basically what the eToro Summit is, just in case you don't know, is a day where all the popular investors on eToro, from champion level upwards I believe, are invited for a day of networking, learning, free drinks, pizza, and this year it is in the British Film Institute in South Bank. So yeah, got to the event a bit late and got handed this sort of stuff and then just pushed into a lecture hall, and then just went from sort of lecture to lecture, bumping into different popular investors on the way and talking to them. One of the things I want to talk about is, like, if you want to know what this event was really about, I didn't know to begin with. Like, I had no expectation going to this. I didn't really know what I was going to be looking for, and I still didn't really know when I got there what I was there for, until Yoni Aisha's lecture. So Yoni Aisha, if you don't know, is the CEO of eToro and created eToro way back in the early 2000s. And his talk was sort of in the middle of the afternoon, and at first I thought it was just going to be a bit of a fluffy talk, and in a way it was just talking about the origins of eToro, how it had grown to today, and then where he expects it to grow in the future. And the thing that he opened his talk with that I found interesting was eToro is the world's largest social trading network. So it's the only trading network that has a social media element. Did make me laugh a little bit because I thought, just because I knew how rare most trading networks don't have a social media element, so I thought it was a way to just make eToro sound bigger than it was. But actually, as the talk went on, I realized that this isn't as it seems. It was when he was emphasizing that it's the world's largest social trading network, he was really emphasizing how unique it is for a trading network to be social, to have an element of communicating with the investors built into it. The copy investing or popular investor program was added to eToro in 2010, so it's only been with us for around 12 years. And so having a room of 200 people that are all popular investors is incredible. Like, the fact that I'm just thinking that it would be a lot larger, given that the platform has around 20 million users. For there to only be 200 people in this lecture hall at this event makes you realize how challenging it's been to get to this point. Yeah, so 10 years, 200 popular investors, that's 20 popular investors per year. Now, there are more popular investors that didn't come to this event. It was a tricky day to try and get to London, but that still goes to show how much growing eToro has to go into the future. Now, but this isn't the real reason this day was significant. The real reason this day was significant was because it was proof that the popular investor program was getting off the ground. Now, being a popular investor in eToro, if you don't know what it just means that you are being copied by other people. But isn't that interesting that, that being a copier or being copied is a relatively new term, and perhaps it's one that's going to become more ubiquitous around the world. But it's interesting to me that there aren't other platforms that offer this yet. And essentially, it's just a way for everyday people to become a hedge fund or an investment account. It's a day for anyone can become Warren Buffett and start trading and then be copied by someone else. But it's a bit different to that, because if you were to entrust your money in Warren Buffett, you would need to trust Warren Buffett. You would only have 4 times a year that you get to understand what Warren Buffett is buying and selling, and therefore you would only know 4 times a year what the value of the fund was. When someone is to copy me, they will see day by day what trades I'm making and what my portfolio is made up from and what the value of my portfolio is. Very much live, and they actually hold the assets themselves. I just trigger the trades for them. So this is a very different time for us. It's a day of, eToro platform. There is far more trust built into the service. You don't have to trust me so much. You can just actually see my trades, and then you can write me messages. You can go, why is my portfolio down at the minute? And then I can explain to you what I am doing to deleverage, or why I'm buying certain assets. This is very different to how investing has been done in the past. And it's only been with us for around 10 years and no one else is doing it. eToro is the world's largest social trading network. Now, there are other trading networks like Robinhood and stuff like that. You must have heard of them, and some of them are a lot bigger than eToro. But these platforms, they are required to publish. If they're in the UK, they are required by the financial regulator to publish how many retail investors on that platform lose money. For eToro, the amount of retail investors that have lost money is 62% in the last quarter. 62%. That's how many people have lost money. Now, at first that number seems really high. It did to me when I learned that. But when you look at the other platforms, they're all in the 70s. I looked at TradingView, which is just the first one I looked at. The amount of retail investors that lost money in the last quarter was 75%. And that really gets you to realize just how bad at trading the average person is. And it's not that they will always be bad, it's just the fact that right now they don't know what they're doing. They know that there's money to be made here, but they are just sort of shooting in the dark. And it's only through exposure to other investors and learning from other people and being able to see those stats and those stats being communicated well that they will improve. But if you think about it, if the platform that you're using is communicating that information really, really well, then it lowers the bar for people to become good investors. It makes it much, much easier for the average person to get on a stepping stone into being an investor. Warren Buffett went to university and had Benjamin Graham as a lecturer, literally the best investor you could possibly have as your lecturer in that time. And Warren Buffett had it. Now imagine if more people had had access to Benjamin Graham, and Benjamin Graham had a platform in which he could communicate really clearly how he was making investments. And then also everyone on that platform could see clear as day how well Benjamin Graham's investments were paying off. And they could see all of his stats in a click of a few simple clicks without even being really told how to use the platform. They could really easily find that information out. How many more Warren Buffetts would there be? Benjamin Graham only reached out to a few students at a time, a group of people per year that could afford to go to university. Imagine if there's a Benjamin Graham on eToro. That means that 20 million people can now learn from that person. And that is what's significant about the eToro Popular Investors Summit. It's the fact that popular investors are now getting together, gathering their collected information and sharing it, and then potentially respreading that useful information across 20 million people. And that's what Yoni Aisha's talk was all about. It was about the fact that if popular investors become better at communicating, then the investors, the 20 million people who learn from them, will also get better. And the potential that will have to increase the wealth of all the people that are investing on eToro and the popular investors, then it will mean that eToro as a platform, Yoni Aisha himself, will become wealthier and bigger faster than the other platforms. Essentially, he wants to prioritize education and learning on the platform, utilizing the social media aspect. It's sort of unguided, like give us the tools and then teach us how to use those tools and how to communicate them to other people, and then see what happens. A platform that is incentivized to educate people and has the tools to educate beginner investors how to become great investors. Imagine, there's 20 million people right now. Imagine if all of them get 5% better at trading. Well, that will mean an enormous amount of wealth generation around the world. And so, yeah, I'm super excited about the potential of the eToro platform. Yoni Asia, I think, is steering the ship incredibly well, and I'm really excited to go to the next eToro 2022 Popular Investors Summit, 2023 Popular Investors Summit, but I'm really excited to see the eToro 2032 Popular Investors Summit, because I can't imagine where it will be in another 10 years. It's taken 10 years to get sort of a room filled with 200 popular investors. I can't imagine it will be 400 in 10 years. I think it will probably be something like 1,000. And I think the landscape of investing will be very different as well. I think we'll have a more educated public on investing, and part of that will be because of the people like you that are copying me, listening to my videos and listening to what I've learned. It just takes a few small steps to learn how to find the right information and become a better investor. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to know more about the eToro 2022 Popular Investor Summit, please leave comments in the description if I've left any information out. Thank you very much for listening. Cheers guys, goodbye.